Where do the names Arctic and Antarctica come from? The Arctic is the region around the North Pole. Antarctica is its southernmost opposite. Unlike the Arctic, it's an actual continent. However, its name wouldn't exist without the Arctic. This makes it the only continent named after an animal. In a way, let's start with the Arctic. The word Arctic comes from the Greek arctos. It means bear, but it refers to a constellation. No one is certain which one. It's either Ursa Major or Ursa Minor. Their names mean the Great Bear and the Little Bear. Ursa Major is prominent in the northern skies. Ursa Minor contains the celestial North Pole. Curiously, the Arctic is also home to actual polar bears, but the Greeks weren't aware of that. Antarctica was also named by the Greeks. Aristotle mentions an Antarctic region in his Meteorology. This name simply means opposite to the Arctic, but it can also be translated as the no bear place. Polar bears only inhabit the Arctic. There are no bears of any kind in Antarctica. So once again the name proved to be correct. Interestingly, Antarctica almost became Australia. Before it was discovered, Europeans had long believed in the existence of Terra Australis. This Latin expression simply means southern land. Terra Australis was a vast continent in the far south of the globe. Its existence was strictly hypothetical. Europeans simply believed it had to be there. It would balance the northern lands of Europe, Asia, and North Africa. When Australia was discovered, it was named New Holland, but 19th century explorer Matthew Flinders didn't like the name. He argued that there was no detached continent south of Australia. Therefore, Flinders said New Holland should be renamed Australia. In 1824, the colonial authorities in Sydney agreed. Australia became the new name for former New Holland, but then Antarctica was discovered. Early geographers didn't know what to call it. They called it the Antarctic continent, but they also came up with names like Ultima and Antipodia. Antarctica was finally adopted in the 1890s. What about the rest of the continent? Europe comes from the Greek name for Thrace. Europa was a Phoenician princess. In classical Greek mythology, the term Asia is more ancient. It probably originated from the Bronze Age name Asua. Africa is a Latin name first used by the Romans. It comes from Ofri, a Roman name for northern Africans. The Americas were named after Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci. The Latin version of his name was Americus. In 1507, German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller created a globe. He was the first to use the name America. Vespucci himself was unaware of this until the 1950s. South America and North America were considered one continent.